Well, immigration is not a perfect science, you know. It's we can't have all winners. There are many cases that are very difficult to win and sometimes impossible because of a chain of events. We pretty much exhausted all appeals. We are right now at the last frontier, kind of like
Correct.
I explained to you before. So we had the the file was kind of resurrected at some point. We reopened it, and they kind of accepted some of our arguments, and then they refused to accept I guess the biggest point, which concerns your education, the validity of education. And like I told you before, I always think that if I was an officer and I look at the history of the case, I mean it's more than 10 years that you are fighting legally to keep yourself in this country.
Correct.
And if somebody is looking at the factors and say, you know, we managed to you find a qualified employer, everything is good, level of education was correct, everything was correct, and then one officer subjectively suspects that your education from a bona fide university in Mexico may not be legitimate, one guy, and that kind of throws us back and forth into this horse race. To me, it's crazy, you know, and I still sometimes I think about this file, and I'm thinking to myself, how is it possible that one human can subjectively destroy somebody's life, which in a way that's what they're doing. After a series of appeals and denials of a green card, we're trying to do our best in the final steps of the case, and now Mario has to make a decision if he's going to stay here without status or decide to go back home. I mean, I don't know, like what I mean, last time we talked about it, you were not sure what you guys are thinking about doing, but what are some of your thoughts right now as to what's going to happen?
It's very different when you are on your own, and very different when you have family, and the family comes first, and you need to find a safe environment for them. And as you say, with the new administration, is apparently, as the media shows it,
right,
is not supporting much immigration. There is no more hope of finding a different way with the new administration, and we have to take a decision. Probably the best way is to go back to Mexico. Once we call home. San Diego was our home later, and now Mexico will be home again.
He did everything right. You know, he found an employer. He never overstayed. He filed it on time, but the system kind of pushes us to the point where you really don't know what to do anymore, because you're trying to do what you can, and they keep sending you notices that it's not going to work.
So it's not easy to digest. Take some time, maybe a few years, to get used to the idea that all the life you created in this country,
right,
all the people you met, everything you made around that, your American-born kids, everything is going to change in a matter of time, and faster than what you can probably expect.
Have you ever thought about being here illegal, staying illegally?
Probably not. I'll tell you my reasons. I need to be able to live a normal life. Don't have to live with fear that somebody can, the authorities can. There is plenty of thugs that cross, and staying in this country illegally is not going to do it for us.
The factors in this case are very subjective, because the immigration is questioning whether the education of the client is authentic after many years of not raising that point. So we put a very strong argument, but the reality is that if they deny this at this moment, the client will have no options but to leave and go back to his home country after being here for almost 15 years. And that's a tough decision to make. I mean, I strongly believe in my heart that maybe somebody will look into this, and maybe they'll see all the factors and still be able to do a reversal, but I'm also realistic too, and I know that there's a pretty good chance that it won't be approved.
Right.
And so by the time that it's not going to be approved, we know that there's not much time, because there'll be probably less than 30 days for you guys to make a decision. So that's something that's why I wanted to meet with you, kind of to put that in your head, that there won't be much time. We're going to have a month, unless there'll be an opportunity to do something else, which I don't know, probably not. Time will be definitely something that you won't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something that is important to so the concern that I have is that if they deny this case now, he doesn't have any more options but to return back to his home country or fight his case in a court, which he doesn't really want to do because his wife is sick with cancer and there's been too much stress on this family. So now it's the final frontier where they have to make a decision what's going to happen if this case is denied and how is he going to move himself back to Mexico. I mean, how do you see yourself? I mean, the decision to leave is already made, or you still kind of?
No, I think it's made. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when.
Right.
Obviously, you want to try to make the things work as best way possible.
Yeah.
So there is the smoothest possible transition between your current life and your new life anywhere you go, and probably the ideal time for that is hard to predict. You know, this is a time bomb. We don't know when a decision will come. Can be tomorrow, can be in a month, can be in 2 months.
Right.
Hard to tell. But we have decided that we must leave, and it's time for us to start looking into the details on, you know, what are you going to do with whatever you have here, your assets, everything in terms of children education, wherever you are going to go. Pretty much in your life, we have started working on the details. We just need to set a deadline and say, regardless of what happens, we leave in a month.
They can take your visa, they can take your green card, and they can take your status, but your kids' education, the culture you've embraced here over the years, or more than 15 years of being here, the spirit of living in America, almost being an American in spirit, nobody can take it away. And even if you leave from here, you always carry that with you. And I think a lot of the people that are being removed or voluntarily decide to leave, they have that with them forever. The American, we call this the American anchor, which is something that is anchored in your heart and in your mind for the rest of your life because you lived here. And nobody can erase that. Nobody can go and catch people and say, before you leave, we're going to erase your memories because we don't want you to take it with you. They can't.
That's correct.
So a piece of paper, the visa, of course, is important. But the biggest thing that you accomplished and took with you in this country are never going to be taken away.
But no one else can fill the emptiness like a lover will.